Howdy folks, Justin here. Today we're going to take a look at a budget list, something that if you're just getting started in the game is something you can put together and have some success with as you work your way into collecting, amassing a bigger collection of cards that you can use to then build other decks. This is the deck, a variation of the deck that I used in June when I was first starting in the closed beta. It's really cheap to craft and is a lot of fun to play. And it's got the potential to win just about any matchup. It's very flexible because you're running the Mage removal package, and it can win out of nowhere with cards like the primary kill condition of the deck, Lilandril Hexmage, which is a common card, which is part of the appeal of the deck, right? So we'll start with the big creatures in the deck, the things that you're going to be, throwing at your opponent's face, right? And the centerpiece of this is Lilandril Hexmage. You combine this with your spells to win the game. It's not the only way you can win, but it's a good way to seal the deal when you've got 4 or 5 cards in hand, maybe an Ice Spike or Scouting Patrol. It turns these cards late game into extra damage. Obviously, great with Lightning Bolt, turns that into a 6 damage spell, and it combos with half the cards in the deck because there's a lot of action spells in this deck. To that end, Crystal Tower Crafter gets bigger every time you play one of these actions. This can also get out of hand very quickly. Clutch with playing this card is maybe not dropping at turn 2, maybe dropping at turn 3 and then playing a removal spell, or dropping at turn 2 with a lesser ward on it, which will protect it from just about anything your opponent can do to it turn 3. You've got Execute and Firebolt as additional cheap spells, and as well as ways to remove opposing blockers and creatures with Drain, which might kind of ruin the joyride that you're about to hop on. You got Scouting Patrol for some early action. If you've got the Soul Shards for it, you could look at cards like Descendant of Alkosh. But this is a good cheap action spell that you can draw with Abyssinian Navigator and do stuff like that with. Looks like my cat is joining the video today, so I'm gonna have to move her out of the way. Sorry, Celine. Okay. Moment of Clarity, pet for card of mine. Not essential for the deck. You could run something in its place like Brutal Ashlander or High Rock Summoner for some cheaper cards. The deck's also not running Shimmerine Peddler, even though it would fit pretty nicely into the deck, just to keep the crafting costs as low as possible. One legendary, Iron. I decided to go ahead and put Iron in the budget deck because this is one of the cards you can get when you hit the level up bonuses. There are 2 of them where you get a legendary. I believe it's 24 and 32, perhaps. And this is one if your avatar, if your profile picture in the game is a mage card, a mage creature. This is one of the free legendaries you can get. So this one's pretty easy to get a hold of. Tilvani Arcanist, just a great card in general. Sees a lot of play in non-budget lists. Fantastic because it's almost a guaranteed 2-for-1. If your opponent wants to remove it, you're still going to get a spell on your hand, and those spells then are fuel for fuel for Hexmage, fuel for Crystal Tower Crafter, and also turn on Auradon Paladin. 4/4 for 4, another common card, but the ability to give it Drain can pull you out of some tight situations, and in general, it's just a solid body. Slaughterfish Spawning. You get copies of this card as you level up. It is a rare card, but because you're getting them for free, it's not something you really need to worry about that much. These Slaughterfish can just get completely out of control. It spawns 2 1/1 creatures that at the beginning of your turn get +2/+0. So if these aren't removed right away, you got 2 3/1s for 3, which is a great rate. And if they don't get removed again, you get 2 5/1s, and at that point, you're probably winning the game. Eastmarch Crusader, really solid card. Don't hesitate, of course, to play this for tempo in the early game if you don't have anything else going on. But the ability to replace itself, draw a card when you play it, is invaluable. Highly recommend you play this card in just about any deck that can run it. Cunning Ally. The deck has more blue cards than it has. I guess there's no way to tell, but it has more blue cards than it has yellow cards. So you're going to trigger your Cunning Ally more often than not. An extra Firebolt, again, fuel for your crafters, fuel for your paladins, fuel for your hexmage, and additionally, worth pointing out, costs 0 when iron is on the board. And I'm gonna get back to Moment of Clarity. This card's great because if you have a hexmage out or something like that, you trigger it and you get another card, potentially a spell. can find you more removal, can find you more threats, can find you whatever you like. Just a lot of fun to play with. But like I said, not essential for the strategy. You could replace it with Dunmer Nightblade, for instance, or any number of other cards and be pretty successful. Ice Spike, this is a card that doesn't do a whole lot, but it cycles, it draws more cards, draws more action, and again, it's an action that powers up your Actions Matter cards. Navigator, draws cards, always good. Your Prophecy cards are Piercing Javelin and Lightning Bolt. Don't hesitate sometimes with this deck to Lightning Bolt the opponent's face on a Prophecy, but just some good ways to get blockers out of the way, to get drain creatures out of the way. And that's basically the whole list. Crystal Tower Crafter got some new art recently. Love that. And so what I'm going to do now is record a couple videos with this deck so you can see it in action. People have been really asking for budget lists, and this is the one I'm most comfortable with. So we are going to see how it does. I hope you guys join me for the first game. See you soon. Bye-bye.